Well, hello again. Today I'm going to talk about seaside gardens, and the main things in a seaside garden are the two main problems are salt winds and beach sand. So when selecting plants for a seaside garden, the main thing to do is select plants for that environment. And the first one to show you is Cas.equisetifolia, or variety incana, or commonly called the shingle oak, is the main plant in any seaside garden. It grows to about 5, 6, 7 metres, a tree, and you can see there it's a beautiful large shade tree right on the beach, and you can see there the ocean in the background. It's a beautiful willowy type tree with long casuarina needles, and it's probably the main theme in any seaside garden. Though the Norfolk Island pine will grow on the beach, it's very slow to start with. So in comparison to the shingle oak was a lot faster. So if you are going to start on a seaside garden in beach sand, that's the one I would start with. To show you a close-up of it there, this is you can see its long, graceful needles, almost willow-like. It's almost like a weeping willow. And it's even though most people think that most she oaks don't have much shade, it's very dense, and you can see there it does create quite a dense atmosphere right down on the beach in the shingle oak. Now, using that as a theme, I would suggest that you plant 3 or 5 of the shingle oak on the west or southwest position, so you don't lose your vista of the ocean, and that will give you some protection from the ocean. And in coming away from the she oak as a theme, I would use Eucalyptus erythrocorys on this side of it, on the east side of it, with a little bit of protection from the she oak, will give you some colour. Now that is the best gum. Eucalyptus erythrocorys, or Illyarrie, is the best gum with a flowering one right on the coast. So with that one complementing the she oak, another one that flowers later in the summer is Melaleuca heugelii, or the Chenille Honey Myrtle. Now, Melaleuca heugelii does grow to a small tree, but generally is a shrub, a large shrub, and its feature is it has these white bottlebrush flowers there, and it flowers in summer. So that gives you an idea. You can have some flowers right through the year, complementing the she oak as a theme. And I would plant, again, several of them, not just one. If you plant a group of them, they will complement, as you're going, you will complement your theme, and you will create a quite dense garden. And over to some that are flowering now, starting with the Templetonia, or Cockie stun as it is commonly known. It's a beautiful red shrub, 1 to 2 metres high, about 1 metre across, has long, vivid lanceolate leaves, very beautiful shrub, and I would use that coming away from those larger trees to that, and again, plant it in a group, and you'll see there it displays these beautiful red flowers right throughout winter. And to get some effect of winter flowering things, I've put 4 together here, from the Templetonia to a wattle. You can see the colour contrast there, from the red to the yellow, and you get this beautiful clash of colours if you plant a group of 3 to 5 of each together, and they will mellow straight away. Now this particular one, Acacia pulchella, only grows to about 1 metre right on the beach. I just might point out there that a lot of them, if they grow back or more inland in a more fertile situation, they will grow a lot bigger, obviously, and if you are irrigating them with no salt winds, they will obviously grow a little bit bigger. So there we are with a good selection right from the start. Now to complement those two, I would use the Native Wisteria or Hardenbergia comptoniana as a ground cover. That might surprise some people, because further back, where there are a lot of trees right throughout the south of the state, it grows and climbs most of the trees, so it is generally regarded as a climber. But on the beach, where there's no trees and the beach sand, you'll find that it grows as a ground cover. So that is the perfect example of a very showy ground cover for this time of the year, right throughout winter, almost into spring, is again the Native Wisteria. I would again use a lot of them, and when they're 3, 5, or even 7, as many as that, It sounds a lot, but it isn't, because you get that nice green, lush look with that one there. And when it's not in flower in summer, it is very attractive with those vivid green leaves. And as a background with those three, utilising those three, again using at least 3 or 5 of each, I would use this one, a lot of people would know it, along the grey foliage one here, right along the beach. Its botanical name is Olearia, Olearia axillare, or some people call it a smoke bush. But in actual fact, it isn't a smoke bush, but it looks smoky. And that's a good, you can see there that as a background, it grows a bit taller, and use it at the back, at the rear of these. Again, 3 plants of it, and you can see a nice combination of clash of colours and foliage variation there in the Olearia. You can trim them if one gets a little bit taller. You can trim them and bring them down a little bit so that they are all good and compact. So that's from the what is flowering now. There are other varieties, but that is a good combination of what is flowering now, and you can complement it with other forms, and they will all take the salt winds. So over to a group of plants that will flower, another natural group of plants that will flower in spring a little bit later on. Starting with the ground cover is Grevillea crithmifolia. Now, Grevillea crithmifolia runs along the ground, probably spread to 5 metres. Quite a vigorous, low-growing plant. It comes in several forms, will grow as a ground cover, and you can get some that will grow to 2 to 3 metres even. It's as a large shrub. Now, the beauty of that one is a very vigorous ground cover, and again will grow. All these will grow in pure beach sand, very porous sand. And to complement that one there, I would suggest a cushion bush. You find that that beautiful grey, smoky, wiry foliage comes up in a nice, compact little plant, and it's just for foliage variation, no flowers there. The Grevillea does have white flowers, so when that does flower, it looks magnificent with those two. And the Grevillea will complement the next one in Pimelia. Most people would know the Pimelia with its large pink pom-pom flowers right throughout the southwest, right down to Augusta there. And even when it isn't in flowers, you can see here, it is an attractive foliage variation with beautiful vivid green and its nice formal round shape. If you like neat plants, well, you should put more of these ones in. So they're spring flowering ones. And another one to complement it is in the spider net Grevillea, Grevillea thelemaniana. It does come in many different forms, but that one there is probably the best with a grey foliage. It grows to about 1 metre high, about 1 metre across, and again I would suggest plant them in groups of at least 3. And if you've got a bigger area of 5, you can use that one in both selections. So you can see there as a cross-section of them all, those 4 give you a terrific display. But the smaller the area, you could probably put 1 in. The bigger the area, put in 3 or 5, and you'll get a magnificent display. If the salt winds, the sand is moving and it moves up through them, it's okay, because it doesn't matter if they get covered a little bit with shifting sand. One thing about shifting sand there, down on the dunes, the sand keeps moving, and that's a natural thing with the beach. So it is important when you are planting plants in the beach sand to plant them a little bit deeper. That is okay. As I said, most plants will get covered with beach sand, if not in the winter, a little bit more in the summer. And that is their natural evolution. They will go with it. So don't be afraid to pop them in a little bit deeper there in all varieties. So another point with if you have an existing garden and you think you've lost a lot of most faith in plants down there, the salt winds have burned them. I've heard people say, oh, I've been planting plants for years on the beach and they all burn and we don't have any satisfaction. So if you have got shrubs on the beach and they are burnt on the windward side, and don't pull them out, plant something, complement them with something on the windward side to make them look attractive. And this one here is probably one of the best in the Kennedia nigricans. Now, Kennedia nigricans is a very vigorous climber in normal situations, but right down in beach sand it would be just quite a light climber. It wouldn't get away too much. And you can see there from its flowers, it has black and gold flowers, very, very attractive, and these very large green leaves, very large green leaves. It's a magnificent climber. So that's a good point there to put on your windward side, planted in beach sand, that Kennedia. It's a really good one. So to demonstrate in this beach sand that you can plant and how to plant, I would suggest, assuming that that is about a good size to plant, most nurseries would be growing in a sawdust mixture nowadays, and most plants would develop a very vigorous root system in the pot. So what you've got to do is try and get those roots into your beach sand from one medium to another there. So I would suggest just taking away the bottom bit there. That doesn't hurt it. And you can see there that the roots from there on will go straight down from there. Not the side ones aren't as important, but the bottom ones. So just dig a hole straight in, no soil preparation required, pop it straight in like that, plant it a little bit deeper, as I said, flood it in very well, flood it in, give it at least a couple of gallons, and if you have taken the bottom off, I would suggest take a little bit of the top off, and generally most plants would be a little bit lush, so that would be the best suggestion there, and you'll find it'll get away very quick. So there's another interesting range, and just to show you can have a good selection of plants right on the beach. Remember, the she oak is your main theme, the flowering plants, and to end the program, there's a good selection of flowering plants there, Templetonia and Hardenbergia and Wattle. So until next time, cheerio.